Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. And it's hump day. It's the middle of the week. And we are that much closer to playing the Redskins this weekend at the good old trash heap that we like to call the FedEx Field. Real quick, though, before I get into going forward, just want to say a couple of things about Jacksonville. I was going to do this yesterday because normally by hump day we're moving forward and talking about the next week. So Jacksonville, as you know, we won that game 40-7. Wonderful blowout victory. But me personally, I look at things in the game, you know, when you go back and look at the tape and you see certain things that you didn't see when you were watching the game. A couple of positives, though. Granted, we won the game. Obviously, the play calling was better. There was factors on both sides of the ball on that. The Jacksonville Jaguars hurt themselves on defense, mostly because their offense is in that. We were able to stop Blake Bortles. And it just goes to show you, no matter how good your defense is, when your defense is on the field more than your offense, they make mistakes, they get tired, and that's what happened to us when we played our last game. You know, your defense is on the field too long because they're stopping your offense, and your defense can't play as well because even though when you're rotating guys, your defense still gets tired, and then what happens is that offense starts to click. And that's when the momentum comes on their side and not yours. So I think some of that happened with Jacksonville. Player execution was better on our side. Our offensive line was key. Our offensive line played much better. You look at the injuries that we have. Tyron Smith is still dealing with his ankle. He's dealing with that back. Now, he's going to be dealing with that back for the rest of his career and probably his life. Because, you know, once you get back injuries, you know, they're never going to be the same. And it's not going to get any better with him playing on it. So at some point, we're going to have to look into future drafts to keep this offensive line, keep it churning. Get young guys in the draft and just keep everything churning. It's funny because Tyron Smith, he came in the league. He was at one time one of the youngest players in the league. And he's been with the Cowboys for a long time, it seems like. But he's still like, I think, 27, 28. He's still not that old. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But you look at that. You look at the stuff that's going on with Travis Frederick. We don't know when he's going to come back or if he's ever going to come back and play football again. So you gotta think about things like that. But I got to give Joe Looney credit. Joe Looney's can't come in there, and he's done his thing, and he's helped out the Cowboys. And it feels like that they're meshing. One thing that you look at from the beginning, the first couple of games of the season, these guys were trying to mesh with each other. And, you know, with an offensive line, you can't keep pulling pieces in and out like you would another, like a receiving core or something like that, because these guys have to work together. They work as one unit. All five of the offensive linemen work like, they work as one person. Whatever your left tackle's doing, he has to know what the center is doing. The center has to know what the right tackle's doing. And then both of the interior guards have to know what they're doing. Because especially when they're pulling, we do a lot of pulling because we have we run our offense like an athletic line because we have a mobile quarterback. You use them on, you know, on stunts and moving around and getting up the field. And you got to have offensive linemen. You got to have athletic offensive linemen to get that done. And that's what we have. Now, those are the bright spots. Now, you look at some of the negatives. It's like, I look at it like this, and I don't, and I'm not gonna, I'm still not happy with Garrett and Linehan because I need to see more of it. Too many times have we gone 8-8 because of we win this game, lose that game. Yes, we won all our home games. That's great, but we got to win on that road too. We got to get road wins because those are important as well. You got to get these division games won, and I just hope that Carolina game doesn't come back and haunt us because again, that's an NFC team. So, you know, you got to win these games with NFC teams because those are the ones you're going up against, trying to get into the playoffs. So, excuse me, those are definitely important. Now, going forward, it is now hump day. As I said before, we are inching closer to our big tailgate event this weekend for the Redskins game as we play in their messed up, sodded up field. I don't know if it's supposed to rain. I think it's supposed to rain a little bit, maybe Saturday, but you know, which is not going to help the rain the field conditions for Sunday. But either way, I'm hoping for a win. One thing that we cannot do is go in here and underestimate the Redskins. I tell you this, it's a division game, and I don't care how well or how bad they're doing. You can't underestimate a divisional game because they know you, you know them. And normally when you play a division team, it's never really a blowout unless some injuries happen or they just had a complete lapse and they just shut down. Now, the Redskins are playing a little game right now of, you know, woe is me and woe is me, you know, because they're thinking in their mind, oh, we're going to try to sneak up on the Cowboys and try to get that win, just like how the Cowboys did with the Jaguars. One thing that you cannot do in the NFL as a player, as a coach, from a staff, these are NFL teams. This is not college. This ain't high school. This ain't the Pee-wees. When you play against a team in the NFL, no matter how sucky they are, no matter how bad their record is, you have to look at, you still have to respect that team because they are still NFL players and they are there for a reason. They get paid just like you do. In the NFL, it's any given Sunday. We done seen the Lions beat the Patriots this year. And I know a lot of that has to do with Matt Patricia being their old defensive coordinator and being on their staff since 2004. But also, when you look at that, it's any given Sunday. You can get beat by any team in this league. Now, one thing that I'm a firm believer of, just because you're bigger, stronger, faster, and more talented and more athletic, doesn't mean that you can't lose by somebody smaller, less athletic than you. Because football is a mental game. And a lot of people don't know that. It's mental. You got to know the X's and O's. And if you are a cerebral team, you can beat a better, bigger team by your wits. If you are able to outsmart the players on that other team and be able to catch them slipping, oh, you can win a game. It's the whole narrative of David versus Goliath. You got to use your wits and stuff to beat that guy because that guy has strength, talent, and athleticism on top of you. So you have to find ways of beating him. And that's what we did with the Jaguars. Jaguars came in that game too cocky. Jalen Ramsey doing all of this, and I love, shout out to Barbara Long. But you look at you sit here and you look at Jalen Ramsey doing all of this, and he does that every week. Boy ain't had nothing to say in the interview. You know why? Because he had a mouthful of humble pie. Again, if you're going to talk the talk, and if something happens and you can't walk the walk, you got to man up to the fact that you are wrong and be like, get the Cowboys credit for beating you. Because that shows humility, which he ain't got, obviously. So, you know, he's a young player. He got a lot to learn. And he definitely could have handled that interview much better. Because if it were me, if I was the one that was talking all that mess, and I had to eat that humble pie, oh, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to give you a hand clap. I'm like, yeah, shout out to the Cowboys. They did their thing. They beat us. And they beat us. They beat us. They were the better team that day. And again, you look at the Jaguars, the whole team, they got too cocky. They got too comfortable. They're like, Dallas Cowboys are 25th in offense in the league. They ain't doing nothing. Dak Prescott ain't got no weapons. Dez Bryant ain't on the team no more. Jason Witten ain't on the team no more. Tony Romo ain't on the team no more. They don't have any business beating us. What they gonna beat us with? Who they gonna beat us with? Well, what happens is you put Tyler Patman, even though I always liked Tyler Patman, I liked him when we had him. But you put Tyler Patman in the slot on Cole Beasley, knowing that the Cowboys know that Cole Beasley can beat Tyler Patman because Tyler Patman couldn't defend against, he couldn't check Cole even when he was here. So ain't nothing changed. He's still the same player. So it is what it is. You know, we went out there and Cole Beasley had a day. 9 receptions, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, I need Linehan to think about the Jaguars game and put that into his game plan with the Redskins. Now, again, every week your game plan is going to change. That much is true. We know that. But because every defense is different that you go against. Now, statistically, and you look at the names, Redskins defense is only probably is half as good as the Jaguars, but you see what you did with the Jaguars because, again, you caught a team slipping. And that's why you don't go in any NFL game underestimating another team, because they will come after you, because a hungry team is the hardest team to beat, because hunger and fight and will sometimes, and a lot of times actually, prevails above others. So you look at what we got with the Redskins now. Their front line is really good. They went and got Deron Payne. They got Tim Settles, young guys. And, you know, they bolstered their defensive front. Now, I said in the offseason that I definitely respected the Redskins front line. One thing about me, y'all, diehard Cowboy fan my whole life. But I'm a realist. You know what I mean? And I'm not a homer. So I look at things like this. I give credit where credit's due. If I see that your team is doing something, you guys have a good thing going, oh, I'm going to speak on it, because I believe that, you know, you got to give respect and credit where credit is due. And that's just how I roll. But again, their defensive line is much better. They bolstered it in the offseason. They got a couple of more pieces over there, but they're not all that great in the secondary. I know they got DJ Swearinger. You know, he's doing a couple of things. Josh Norman had a good game last week. I think that a lot of that has to do with him playing against his old team because he had something to prove. And again, everybody underestimates Dallas Cowboys wide receivers because they think that they can't do anything, which I will get to in a second. I'm going to do my matchup on Saturday. I got some things planned. I got some things in the work I'm trying to do, so just bear with me on that one. Because, you know, with work, everything's been kind of crazy, so I'm just trying to figure things out right now. But, yeah, playing the Redskins, I'm not going to underestimate them. I think that we definitely can come in there and get a win. We've beat them for the last couple of seasons, straight up. But, again, it is a divisional game, and you can't go in here cocky, because a game like Jacksonville will happen on you if you do that. And that's just something, food for thought, just something for y'all to think about. Now, this weekend is going to be big. If we get this win, you go into the bye week 4-3. You get a game above 500. You go into your bye week. You come back and play the Tennessee Titans on Monday night. That's a nice long little break. We got a couple of injuries right now. Tavon Austin got a groin issue. He might be out several weeks, which is okay because, again, next man up, right? Get these guys in here. And this is what I was saying about our wide receivers. Cole Beasley has been on this team, as far as the receivers, has been on this team the longest so far. Him and Terrence Williams. But Terrence Williams is IR. He's not playing. But right now, Cole Beasley is the only one active. Excuse me. Excuse me. Whew. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Whew. Jeez. So, Cole Beasley is the only one right now that he's basically like a go-to guy. Teams know that, and they're going to try to take him out. So how do you counteract that? You start to use your other receivers. Now, I noticed in the Jaguars game, a lot of other receivers didn't get many catches. We got to keep spreading that ball around and get different people the ball. Because when you have different people getting the ball for Dak, and then the threat of Dak running himself, and then throw Zeke Elliott in that, you got to understand that the teams are not going to be able to stop that. They cannot stop everything because they don't know which direction you're going to go to. And if you keep switching up your personnel, they don't know who's going to get the ball. You put Rico Gathers in there, not every time to catch the ball. You put him in there to get a couple of blocks. He had a couple of blocks the last game, which was good. You put him in there and you use him as a decoy. And then on other plays, you come in and then throw him a 20-yard out. You do these things, it will keep the chains moving, which will get you closer to the end zone, which will net you more points, which will give you a win. All right? So you have to keep doing these things because, again, it's common sense. It's not hard. It's not hard. Again, I'm just a regular fan, just like all of you are. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I know a lot about football, but at the same time, you have to understand too, when you think of things, everything is not complex. Yes, there are a lot of difficult things when it comes to the X's and O's, but a lot of stuff you can fix with a little bit of common sense. And I think that with the Cowboys, I don't feel like, and I've said this many times, we have the talent to win. You see what we have on the field. We just have to use them better. Because if you're not using your talent, that's almost like having a Bugatti at home and you never drive it. It just sits in the garage. And I'm not saying that these players are Bugattis. I'm not saying that they're that great. But what I'm saying is you have some good pieces that will help you do things, but you have to use them the right way. If you don't know how to use it, you know, it's just like user errors. No matter how good your equipment is, if the user can't use it, it's not going to function properly. That's just with anything in life. For those of you guys that race cars or know a lot about cars like me, you look at a race car driver. You can have a car that's hella faster than somebody else, but if you coming off that line and you missing gears and you spinning out and you you don't have the right Mickey Thompsons on your car, and you're sliding around, the other guy's gonna beat you, knowing damn well you should have beat him because your car's faster. It's the same thing with when you look at it with football. It's like you have to utilize what you have, because again, I've seen so many teams that are worse than us do more with less. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers be having injured players left and right. Aaron Rodgers still comes out there and he does the damn thing. Now, again, I'm not comparing Dak to any of these guys. I'm not using it as a compare. I'm just saying, when you have a coaching staff and you have people that can utilize what you have, because every quarterback is different. Dak Prescott is not that elite guy. He's not a stand-in-the-pocket guy. He is a guy that moves around. And I've said this over and over again, and I will continue to say it. You have to use your quarterback for his strengths. You have to utilize what you have, and you use them to the best of their ability. Byron Jones. They kept trying to make him a safety, knowing damn well cornerback was his natural position. You finally put him back at the position he's supposed to be at. Now all of a sudden he's out here rated one of the best corners in the league because he's doing a damn thing this year, because he's comfortable, because that's what he does. And stop trying to make players something that they're not. And that's one thing that this Cowboys staff does that irritates me sometimes. Stop switching these guys' positions and making them do stuff that they're not used to, because you think that you're trying to be exotic, but you're not. You're being passive aggressive, and that's not good. So that's all I have to say about that. Going forward, we got to get these wide receivers more involved, because it's just a waste of time if you're not. Because again, you need that cohesiveness with Dak. You need them to keep gelling and keep moving forward. I'm loving Michael Gallup. I like the pick when they got him in the 3rd round, but again, he's a rookie and he needs time to develop. Obviously he could go up and get the ball. The guy can jump. He can high point. We saw that when he was in college. You look at him now. Keep giving him the ball. That's a rookie. You got to get that confidence up. Get that boy the ball. Jeff Swain looks like he's starting to be a go-to guy. He's starting to be kind of a security blanket for Dak. But again, this team is young and these guys are working together. These guys are working together. You got Gallup in there working. You got Swain in there working. Again, keep working with these guys, because I'm telling you, once that chemistry gets right, woo, Dak gonna be able to hit these guys all the time with no problem. So, that's pretty much what I have. I'll do my matchups more. I'll get into more to the Redskins closer to the weekend. But again, the tailgate, you guys, those of you guys that are coming, will be in Lot Orange with Mark Holmes and the rest of the boys. And there'll be plenty of food. We're going to be out here fellowshipping with everybody and just enjoying the Dallas Cowboys. And Yeah. And if any of you guys got cornhole or whatever those tailgate games that you have, make sure you bring them, because it'd definitely be fun. Probably have some footballs out there, be throwing around, and just talking stuff. You know, it'd be a good old time. Great times. One more thing I want to address though, and a little bit on the less happy side, but one thing about me, you guys know, I've had this channel since March of early this year. So I'm still technically kind of new to the whole YouTube game. Not even a year in yet. But I appreciate all you guys that support me. It means the world to me, it really does. Those of you that have been following me from day one, you guys already know this. I know I'm speaking to the choir, but me, I'm a very chill, humble guy. I love everybody. I don't genuinely have issues with people. But one thing I will say, my biggest pet peeve is disrespect. I don't like to be disrespected, because I don't ever disrespect anybody first. If I say anything wrong to you off a jump, or is perceived as being wrong, hey, say something, you know what I mean? And I apologize. But, you know, because I never want to offend anybody. That's never me. But when you clearly are being a jerk to me, then I have an issue with that. One thing about me, I'm always going to protect myself, and that's just the way I am, because I'm a man, and that's what I do. But at the end of the day, you know, I do this YouTube channel because, you know, I want to spread the love to the rest of you guys, and I want to share my perspectives and my outlook on things. And again, you may not agree with everything I say. That's cool. Everybody has their opinion. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. As long as you're not disrespecting me and calling me out of my name, I'm good. I'm cool with that. And if you don't like it, hey, you don't have to follow. You know what I mean? Like this is, you know, I'm not doing this for anything. I'm not getting paid by a company for doing things like this. This is my channel. I do this because I love to speak to people, and you know, it's a stress reliever really, because it lets me get things that I have to say out in a positive mindset. And I always try to preach positivity. That's just the way that I roll. But you know, some of you trolls are just, whew, Lord Jesus. Like, do you have a life is my question. Do you have a life? Because me personally, I don't have time to be on people's stuff being a jerk and trying to ruin other people's channels and other people's lives, because I respect all other YouTubers, because everybody's different. But that's why we do this, because everybody has a different flavor that they bring to the table. If you don't like me, you like him. If you don't like him, you like him. Or you don't like her, you like, you know what I mean? So, but again, everybody has their flavor. It's just like Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors. Choose one. Choose one. Because you'll find a flavor eventually, you know. But, again, y'all know I'm silly as hell. I like to laugh. I like to have fun. I like to joke. That's just me. But it really chaps my hide when people come and shout out to the troll S. Harrison, whatever the hell your name is, basically said that I was a bandwagon fan. And I said, what? And I'm like, oh, do you even know what the hell a bandwagon fan is? Let me define a bandwagon fan. Where's my dictionary? Where's my urban dictionary? In the Webster's Urban Dictionary, it describes a bandwagon fan as being a person that hops from team to team in search of a team that's winning and hopping on that bandwagon. And then when that team loses, they hop off. Okay. So I'm a bandwagon Cowboys fan, but we haven't won the big game since the mid-90s. Seriously? I have a whole daggone YouTube channel talking about the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm a bandwagon fan. This fool said because I live in Maryland and I'm not from Texas, that I can't be a Dallas Cowboy fan. Sir, that's the dumb comment of the week. First of all, do you realize that there's Cowboy fans all over the damn world? We got Cowboy fans in the UK, Canada, even Asian countries like Japan and China. Alaska. So you're going to sit here and tell me that I'm a bandwagon fan because I live on the East Coast and I don't live in Texas? Those of you that don't know, I'm originally from Indiana. I'm a Midwest boy. I've been living in this area, you know, most of my, you know, teenage and adult life. Well, all of my teenage and adult life. I've been a Dallas Cowboy fan since I was old enough to speak. When I was a kid, the Indianapolis Colts were new. They were barely even a franchise. I don't even remember when they came about, but I know that I was real young when they came about. Half my family were Bear fans because, again, I lived 25 minutes outside of Chicago, where I'm from. Half my family was Cowboy fans. I followed my favorite uncle. And when I was a baby, he put Dallas Cowboys, he bought me t-shirts and stuff and put it on me. And I've been a Dallas fan ever since. I'm in my 30s. So at this time, present time, I've been that my whole life. That's all I knew. Moving here to Maryland, there's only 2 teams in this area to choose from. You got the Baltimore Ravens, and then you have the Washington Redskins. For those of you that have never been to what we call this, the DMV, not Department of Motor Vehicles, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, DMV, this is what we call it. Technically, if you want to say geographically, ever since the Redskins left RFK Stadium and they went to FedEx Field, which is actually in Maryland, Landover, I live literally 15 minutes away from the stadium. If that. If you live here, you would know that. If you actually ever been here, you would know that technically both of the teams here are in Maryland. Matter of fact, the Ravens and Redskins stadium is literally less than 30 minutes apart from each other, which is crazy in my opinion. It's just right up the road. Because you got the 2 major cities, you know, squished in between. So I've always been a Cowboy fan. And even living here, I'm not going to switch and become a Redskin fan, because then that would make me a bandwagon fan. But first of all, before you come at me incorrectly, learn your definitions of what a bandwagon fan really is and hop your butt off the channel. That's all I got to say. But sorry to have to address the negativity. I just thought it was hilarious because some people don't know what a bandwagon fan is. And I'm going to need y'all to use some common sense and actually read. How about that? Look it up, because it's not that difficult. Every state does not have a team. So you mean to tell me that now that the St. Louis, that used to be the St. Louis Rams, now in LA, so all those fans, they're bandwagon because now their team has moved to another state? You look at places like North Dakota, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska. There's no NFL teams in those areas. So what fan of those they are? Most of them are Broncos fans because it's in that region. Come on, y'all. Let's use some common sense. Just because you're not from that area doesn't mean that you can't be a fan of that team. You look at the DMV as a whole, DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's a very transient place. It's almost like Georgia here. Because a lot of people that live here right now are not from here. Because there's a lot of good jobs here because it's the nation's capital. So most people come here for work. So there's so many different fans. When we went to the Lucky's sports bar, you go in there, it's a smorgasbord of fans. It was Bear fans in there, Seattle fans in there, Redskin fans, a bunch of Cowboy fans. So, again, oh yeah, and of course the Jacksonville Jaguar fans. We're not in none of those areas. But I live in an area where I see different fans of different teams. And I would never say out of my mouth, oh, you're a bandwagon fan, because you don't know nobody's life story. You don't know where they are, where they came from, or what their story is about. And just like with Mark's been living here his whole life, but he's a Dallas Cowboy fan. that doesn't mean he's a homer. His pops was a Cowboy fan. So again, a lot of times when you grow up and you're around your family members and things like that, you kind of triculate to what they have done. And then as you get older, you either make a decision to be loyal to another team or you stay loyal to that team. And for us to have YouTube channels and talking about this on a daily basis, that's love right there for a team, because you don't do this for no reason. So, but anyway, I'm done. I'm done with my rant. I just wanted to put that out there and clarify some things. But either way, it is what it is. Let's get ready for this Redskins game, y'all. Look out for my matchup video I'm going to do this weekend before the game. Keys to victory, things of that nature. So, yeah, get ready for Sunday, y'all. And the tailgate is going to be fun. Signing out. Yo, like, share, comment. It's your boy E2 Blue. Always keeping it real. Y'all have a great hump day.